To stay alive, trying to find me shawty and make her mine. Now I'll find one in no time. With the help of my homies, I'm going out with my bros. With my
All right, bruh fans, here's my episode review for season 1, episode 19, entitled A Fool in Love. Actually debuted on BET Plus this morning. I actually watched it pretty early. I want to say before 5 a.m. And if you follow me on the channel, and then you know on the community tab, I posted about it and didn't really have that many nice things to say. But let's just read the synopsis. Bill makes a last-ditch effort to stop Regina's wedding. Mike starts to feel insecure about his relationship with Pamela. What do you mean starts? I'm pretty sure he's always felt that way. And Alice has surprising news for John. So before going further, make sure you like the video. Let's try to get to 30 likes on this one. Hit subscribe, because a subscribe today will help me reach 1 million subscribers tomorrow. Hit the bell icon and select all. That way you're notified whenever I post new content to the channel. And follow me on my various social media platforms. Links are in the description below. Yeah, remember, I just started a Facebook group for a bruh, and yeah, I could definitely use some more love. So make sure you join my various Facebook groups for Ruthless, The Oval, Bruh, Sister, Have and Have Nots, and everything else in between. Some of the groups are still available to join, even though the shows are over, like If Loving You Was Wrong and Greenleaf. But yeah, this episode, yeah, I think I'll give it maybe like a 2 out of 10. Now, don't get me wrong. If you read my post earlier, then you know that I like Bruh a lot. It's one of my favorite shows Tyler Perry has come out with since he debuted on Viacom, so to speak, on BET Plus and whatnot. But it's crazy because Bruh started out, to me, and I know it's not for everybody. There are some people who are like, man, the first episode turned me off. You know, the character of Alice, her talented actor who's been in so many of the Tyler Perry plays, and I believe she's been in a couple movies too. It's like she's been so sweet, she's so talented, but I don't like this variation of that persona of her being vulgar and whatnot. I get it. It's not for everyone. Just like Sisters isn't for everyone. Just like The Oval isn't for everyone. Just like The Haves and Have Not, and so on and so forth. My big issue is that while the show to me was actually really good, it's gotten worse over the past 3 episodes. 17, 18, and 19, I feel, are a string of lackluster episodes. Episode 17, I said, was like the textbook definition of filler. Episode 18 wasn't as bad. I actually did get a couple of good laughs in there. Episode 19, I'm just scratching my head waiting for something to happen, because this episode was full of padding. Like, characters just standing around and again repeating the same. And this is nothing new, but it's like I really feel like a personal blow because I love Bruh. But Bruh, come on. I know we have 5 episodes left. Episode 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. What I'm nervous about, and some people in the comments on my post were like, well, Jeremy, you know how Tyler Perry does. Typically, when the show is about to end, it'll get really good and exciting. I'm like, that's true. But the thing is, Bruh to me is kind of weird because I thought it started off very strong. But then when we get to this section where we're almost at the back half of the second part of the season, the show's getting weaker and weaker, which is usually kind of like the opposite, where a season might start off semi-okay, just good enough to pique your interest. But then as the season moves forward, it's like, okay, filler episode, blah, blah, blah. And then at the very end, the last 3 episodes, it gets really good. But Bruh to me was like consistently good. Yeah, there were a couple episodes where I'm like, okay, are we really just going to stand around 15 minutes in the same spot? And then it was still consistently good. But now that we're getting to the back of season 1, it's starting to fail. And that's my worry, because here's what I'm afraid of. This show definitely this episode gave me, well, basically episode 17, 18, and 19, they gave me the same vibes of padding as House of Pain did when it came back on BET. That's how I feel. And another reason I'm nervous is the fact that Season 2 has been filmed, but remember, Season 2 was filmed in only 5 days, which lets me know that if we are... 5 days does sound crazy, but then I'm like, well, this show is only 21 minutes, so technically it actually makes sense why it would be filmed like a lightning compared to a Sisters or an Oval or, you know, maybe even the Haves and the Have-Nots whenever they decide to film season 9. But I'm just nervous about the repetitiveness and the padding, because I know you're probably wondering, well, Jeremy, you're like 5 minutes into the video, but you haven't talked about episode 19. There isn't anything to talk about. It's like I said in my post again. I want to keep going back to my post. There were only 2 things that mattered in this episode. Number 1, it was mentioned in front of Peter that Regina and Bill were together the night before the wedding. But it was not stated that they had sex. And then at the end of the episode, Alice tells John that Regina could not go through with the wedding. When it got to the I do, she said I couldn't. That's it. Those were the only 2 scenes of significance. Other than that, the episode was just strung out on repetitive dialogue and all. I think the actors are great. Every single one of them. That's why I like the show, because that's what drew me into the series, because the chemistry between the 4 bros was real. I felt it. It felt to me, and again, I'm not trying to poke fun at one show, or not poke fun, but, you know, put one show above the other. But I personally feel like the chemistry between the 4 guys and bruh is stronger than the chemistry between the 4 women on Sisters. That's just my opinion. But I just feel like I know at the end of this season, I'm probably going to do, like a video like who's the best bruh. Tom is the front runner, because he's one of the few characters in the show that seems to be written to be not just competent, but realistic. Because the way Bill is going on and on about Regina, this hasn't even, I feel like it's gone past the scope of like a stalker or creeper. I just feel like it's a matter of ridiculousness, because who's he really trying to convince here? Because I remember giving John crap about him taking the drug money and all, but even that felt better written than the way Bill's acting now. It really is. Because this entire episode, I feel like the first, almost the first half of this episode, I'm actually watching it on BET Plus on mute, just so I can, like, you know, compare. I want to say like the first 8 minutes take place in the wedding hall. It's Pam, Regina, Peter, Alice, is it Laura or Lauren? I forgot. The woman who works at the sandwich shop who hits on everyone. She's pretty much a younger Alice. I feel like that's the best way to put it. And then we spend about, let's see here. Sorry for the clicking, but I'm just we spend about 6 minutes of the guys in the car, and Bill's just going on and on about how, oh, I want to go back, and they're like, oh, we're not taking you back, and then, you know, they take him home. And then we're at the restaurant. I think it's Alice and Laura. It's all about how their feet hurt. Look, I'm not a woman, so I'm not really going to comment on sore feet from wearing heels. I don't envy women. I mean, you wear those shoes to look, you know, taller. They look pretty, but I do not envy the pain you go through. Like, I'm looking at it now, like Alice is sitting at the table trying to rub her feet, and then Laura comes out of the restroom and she kicks off her heels. I'm like, more power to y'all. Like, I'm just glad I don't have to wear that kind of stuff. But in any case, that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. There's really nothing else except for, again, at the end of the episode, Alice tells John that Regina could not go through with the wedding. That's literally all that happened. So, again, I do hope that the show gets better before the end of the season, because, again, these are some talented people. I would not be... Remember how I want to say maybe around the halfway point of Sister Season 1, where I literally stopped doing videos because my videos weren't doing well at all? This was at a time where I had like damn near 3 to 5 shows on at one time to review. And I'm like, okay, the Sister videos aren't getting traction. I need to do videos that will bring in ad revenue. So I'm going to dump Sisters. And I remember around like episode 16, 17, people were like, hey, Jeremy, come back. The show's good. And I did. And I'm like, damn, it is actually kind of better. But for bruh, I'm hanging in there because I like the show. And to be frank, hang on, I don't know, something sound like something. Oh, you know what? I think one of the screws in my armrest on my chair fell out. So that's what I need to fix this chair. Okay. So I'm supporting the show because of the fact that we don't have a lot of shows that depicts black men in a positive light. Okay, sure, Bill probably isn't the best example of a positive black representation, but in regards to like 4 black men who are successful, yeah, John went through a lot in college to save his boy Mike, but at the end of the day, he still owns a sandwich shop. He might not be rich, but he owns his own business. Tom's a successful doctor. He's going through his own, trials and tribulations on the job. Mike works in the, law firm in regards to like taxes and whatnot. And Bill's a contractor, but I get it. This show is supposed to be more of a comedy than anything else, but at the same time, it does cover some good, realistic story beats that aren't really depicted in the black community, specifically black men. Not to mention, 4 black straight men. I don't think there's been many shows, on in current day that depicts, black men in such a light. Again, not just a positive light, but also a show that depicts 4 black men going through real problems. And I like it. So I'm going to hang in there. I'm really going to hang in there because I do love the cast. I think they're phenomenal. They are very nice on social media. I just love that they love that I support the show. But it's like I'm still going to hang in there since we only got 5 episodes left. I just hope it gets better. That's all I'm saying. Because a lot of this episode could have been condensed in like 3 minutes. And it could have been done. But then again, I still like it because that's the one thing about Tyler Perry. Even if the episode seems fillerish, full of padding, damn it, the lighting and camera angles get me every time. Like, again, I literally have the episode on mute on my computer, and I'm just, like, blown away by how impressive the camera angles are, the lighting. But, what's that saying? All light but all show, no substance. Yeah, that's kind of how it feels sometimes. But I'm going to have faith it gets better. Because I feel like the Regina wedding thing, I feel like we've been focusing on this a bit too much. I just feel like, the other kid, like, is John ever going to call Charlie? But then again, I do feel like it's only been 24 hours or so since he got the phone number from her. Yeah. I think, honestly, this is probably the Regina wedding arc, if you will. This has been the first time in the show where I really feel like it's been dragging. When I say dragging in this context, I mean where like the events of one day is stretched out longer than it should be. Like, this is the kind of show where I definitely feel we should get either multiple episodes a week or Tyler should have just dropped the entire season at one time on BET Plus, because 1 episode a week to me doesn't feel strong enough for people to, subscribe to BET Plus. But at the end of the day, I'm just a fan. I'm not the one who runs this platform. I'm not a billionaire. I got student loan debt like a lot of other people. So, with that being said, again, I like bruh. I'm still going to watch it. But season 2, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. If season 1 can pick up the pace before the end, I'm definitely going to say with confidence, oh, I'm there. But season 2, again, you filmed it in 5 days. And if it's full of the same padding as season 1, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think of Tyler Perry's Bruh episode 19, A Fool in Love? Was I too hard on it? Do you agree with what I say about, how it's just a lot of padding? And that's not good, especially for an episode that's only 21 minutes. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. And if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal, Cash App, or join Patreon for as little as $1 a day. Because, well, think about it this way. That's $12 a year to support the channel. And BET Plus costs $9.99 plus tax a month. I'm just saying, a lot cheaper, and I put out a lot of content. So, not to mention, I review stuff on BET Plus, so I kind of tell you whether or not it's worth getting. Just saying. All right, guys, take care.